Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Media Mementos Extracast. Today's topic is Hoodwinked as requested on Patreon by Sophie Burgers. If you too would like your podcast idea to come to fruition, then consider donating to our Patreon, which has a link in the description below.
Hi.
Yes,
I'm here too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today, as discussed, is Hoodwinked.
Yes.
Our 100th review.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I remember that the alone was already like a trip, a realization. I was like, dude, this is video 100. It was like you completely like ignored that. It was like only in the middle of editing. I think I'm like, dude, this is like 100. How did I forget that?
Well, it has a very interesting production history. So I wanted to do Hoodwinked since literally the beginning of Media Mementos. This has been around since day one. I wanted to do it, but I couldn't really find the means to do it. I was a little busy making something called ITV Digital. And then when that didn't go so well, I kind of lost confidence in a lot of my projects I wanted to do, and it ended up getting shelved, and then admittedly forgotten about. Then, when talking with Billy, I decided to pick the idea back up, and then he just mentioned out of nowhere, oh, by the way, this is our 100th review. So I'm like, okay, yeah, then we definitely have to do Hoodwinked. And then we decided that one of us would cover each movie. I lost and got Hoodwinked 2, which we will discuss in this as well.
Oh my god.
I was so mad I got that, because I'm like, I'm going to just watch the first one anyways, because I don't want to just watch the second, and of course to gauge how bad the second one is, you have to watch the first.
Yeah.
So, my history with Hoodwinked is, I saw it on TV, like the commercials and all that, had to see it, went with my friends, we loved it, and I never really forgot about it. And then I went back to revisit it, and while not every joke works, like 90% of them do.
Yeah.
And I still think it's great, and definitely an underrated classic. I just kind of wish we did get the original version.
Yeah, with like all the initial voice actors like Tara Strong. I'm a little bit happy though that they got Glenn Close for Granny Puckett, because the actress who played Charlene Sinclair was going to be
Sally
Granny
Struthers?
Puckett. Yeah, Sally Struthers. Yeah, she was going to be Granny Puckett.
Let me picture that. No. Yeah, I just can't picture Charlene coming out of that.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if we got, like, Earl, just like, Red!
Oh god! Oh shit! Now that would be fucking great. And given that Hoodwinked was already like Jim Henson heavy, like with the inspirations, that would have made it even better. Which I guess is why they got Struthers on to begin with, maybe.
Could have gotten like BP Richfield to play Red.
Yes.
I'm speaking, Granny.
Oh god. Oh shit! Now we gotta dub that fucking movie with all the dinosaurs characters now. Oh my god.
And gee there, pally boy, I can't drink coffee. So what's your history with Hoodwinked?
So really, this is interesting because when I was a kid, like a really young kid, I used to go to the summer film festivals, like where they show like all the kids' movies, like every summer, like every week for free, like at the movie theaters. And one of them, not Harkins, because they had like more commercialized movies, but the local theater that I would go to back, I think, like in one of my old hometowns, actually was more open with like showing older movies and independent films.
Okay.
So one of the indie films they were showing was Hoodwinked.
Ooh.
And the only thing I knew was the logo.
Yeah.
That is it. Because I was on like the cheap little print paper with like all the JPEGs, and it was like the logo, and I'm like, what's this? Hoodwinked. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what it was, and then I saw it in the theaters. I came the day to see it, like, okay, time to see what this is all about. And of course, I immediately fell in love with it, even though the animation was just awful.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I think even people at the time, like, even kids would be like, wow, this is not like all the other CG films that came out.
I thought it looked really weird.
Yeah. But, like, what saved it, like, even for me as a kid, was, like, all how the characters were written, like, how memorable they were, and the story was very captivating as well, you know, for a young kid, being, like, a crime twist on a familiar like fairy tale, which I mean, it's something like that you don't really think about, like, you know, because this is technically a crime scene that happens in that story, and a lot of fairy tales really do kind of borderline go on that like sadistic kind of stuff. So it was interesting to see something like this kind of take a crack at it, essentially making it a crime thriller.
I like the production of this thing. I don't know if I'd say more than the movie. It's just, I'm a sucker for troubled production. As much as I hate when that happens, stuff like, say, The Thief and the Cobbler just really fascinates me. Or like, say, Jonah, too. You know, Jonah.
Yeah, that was like the only independent CGI film before this one, like, technically speaking.
And this one, it had a doozy. It had the Dorbies guy in it.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
They almost cut him from the movie.
Oh, my God. Right, yeah. Like, I think that was, like... Well, I think, if I remember clearly from the behind-the-scenes featurettes I saw, even early on with, like, the initial rough cut, where they didn't really do much animation, they were already thinking of cutting the singing goat out. And, like, but they had such a strong reaction from the test audiences, which were, like, kids in the local neighborhood, that the producers told them, no, you gotta keep the goat. Mm-hmm. And even after that, then, of course, they tried to replace it with, like, some country singer. Like, probably, I would assume that Hank Williams Jr. would be on that short list. They probably would have gotten him.
Well, I mean, he was interested in doing animated movies. He was in Tom Sawyer.
Right,
that
yeah.
thing we covered.
Yeah, he was in Tom Sawyer.
I would want to do a podcast on that. I just don't know if we have enough to say. We could talk about how it ended up shutting down MGM Animation, the guys who made Secret and Him 2.
Shut the fuck up. Don't bring that movie up again.
So for that alone, I like Tom Sawyer. But Hank Williams Jr. is a good actor. It's just not as funny, because it's the inflections on the goat.
Yeah.
That makes him work so well. What's his name again? Japheth?
Yeah, Japheth.
Japheth the goat.
Japheth the goat.
Ever since I was a kid, he was my favorite part. It's just so funny, and like... how he's just stopped singing and then tries to like recover from it. It's so Monty Python-ish.
Dude.
It reminds me a lot of the, I don't know if you've seen this or any of you out there, the Throat Wobbler Mangrove sketch, where it's this guy with a giant like rubber nose,
yeah.
like bigger than Pinocchio's.
Oh my God.
It's like, I'm here with Raymond Luxury Yacht. No, it's not that. Okay, Raymond Luxury Yacht. Well, it's spelled Raymond Luxury Yacht, but it's pronounced Throat Wobbler Mangrove. And then like he pulls the nose off and it's like fake. He's like, what did you do? Give me back my nose.
Oh my God.
I refuse to interview you. You're anti-Semitic. No, that's not it. It's great stuff. It just reminds me of that. There's a lot of Monty Python stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like I guess it's part of it is just the improv.
Yeah, because like all the actors did ad-libs, especially Patrick Warburton and like Andy Dick. Like they all did their own little bits in there, and
like the laser bit.
Yeah, and even like, if I recall, like even like the old actors did a lot of their own improv. It's like Tara Strong and David Ogen Steers, who was originally also going to play the Woodsman.
Would have been so much better. No disrespect to Belushi.
Yeah, he did the best he could, given like he had to go off of what Steers already had like recorded.
I don't know who I feel worse for. The original actors that put like all their effort into this improv only to get redubbed, or actors who get brought into this project and told they have to do everything by the book at the exact same tempo and have no room for expression.
Wow. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that the Weinstein Company was looking to like diversify, and by that I mean start to exist.
Yeah.
But they really couldn't have sold it to anybody else? I don't remember. It's been a while since I saw the video.
There was talk that DreamWorks wanted to pick it up for
awkward.
distribution. I think not under the animation banner. I think it was like DreamWorks Pictures without any connection with their animation branch.
Then Shrek would get jealous.
Oh yeah. I mean, some people like this better than Shrek, so that would have also been. I mean, I love Shrek personally a lot, but I think Hoodwinked does a few things just a little bit better.
It's apples and oranges for me.
Yeah, but that's kind of the deal. But aside from that, the DreamWorks is the only one that was like I think we know about. There were other studios as well, probably at the Cannes Film Festival and all that stuff. But Corey Edwards didn't really like the offers they had, so he rejected all of them. But apparently Weinstein had the best deal. Either that, or they just needed an animated film to be released as part of their new company.
I think that was it. So they were willing to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Well, except for respect the original integrity of the film. Not saying that a lot of it got cut, because unless I'm mistaken, most of the changes were actor-based.
Yeah, it was pure, like, there wasn't really much cut, and even the deleted scenes, it was just a bunch of, like, B-roll and filler that even the filmmakers themselves admitted in the commentary was just bloated, especially with like all the song numbers. Like they had extra animations for them, but they didn't want it to be seen as like a musical.
Yeah.
So they shortened the songs in the film version. You can listen to the full ones in the soundtrack. I actually have the soundtrack on my phone actually, so
I was listening to Top of the Woods when I was revisiting Hoodwinked again, and like, wait a minute, this is longer than the original.
way longer.
I do not like the cut verses. Like, Andy Dick is rushing to stay in tempo. Like, I'm gonna get you before the credits roll. Like that.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't sound good. Andy Dick's already not my favorite actor, so more Andy Dick is not a good thing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And there are some kind of weird casting choices. We're going to just dwell on this for a tiny bit longer, but you keep Ogden Stiers as Flippers, but you get rid of him as the Woodsman.
And the voices, like, I would imagine would have been very different from each other. Because I can imagine, like, Steers using his Jumba voice for the Woodsman. I could imagine, because the way, like, Jim Belushi projects the tone and the voice, like, it totally feels like this is something that would come out of Jumba's mouth.
Yes.
I feel like. So I want to see that. I at least keep Steers as the Woodsman. Like, that was, like, my one thing. Because I'd love to hear, like, that lovable voice for that evicted criminal.
Anne Hathaway was okay as Red.
I don't know. Like, that's the one that totally feels like, yeah, they just needed a big star, so they just kind of threw her in there.
There are some scenes where she does a good job, but, like, when she's trying to be funny, it works. But when she's trying to be Red, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like with the joke with they call me Red because of the hood I wear. Well, what happens when you're not wearing it? I usually wear it. That's good because she's telling a joke.
Yeah.
But then when she's like trying to confront Granny Puckett about possibly being the goody bandit, it doesn't work.
There's something off about that.
But of course, the ones that were there from the original, like Patrick Warburton or Andy they steal the show.
Oh, yeah. The ones I would say that did a really good job with the replacements were Anthony Anderson and Zibit. Like, they actually, like, you could actually tell they were having a lot of fun with as their characters.
Oh, yeah.
And
especially in the opening scene.
Oh, dude, I love that. Like, they have such good chemistry with each other. It kind of made me, like, low-key kind of imagine, like, a legitimate live-action film with the two. Like, I don't know why. Like,
you never would have thought rappers would be, like, good voice actors,
dude,
but they're good.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, like, singers and such, and rappers, they usually, like, fast-talk with their stuff, so I guess that kind of experience kind of helps them out a lot, so...
I believed him, though. Like, and it... Yeah. Like, Chief Grizzly especially didn't seem like a replacement.
Oh, yeah. It felt like they actually got Exhibit from the beginning. Like, how do they do that? Like, it's pretty cool.
It's just hearing him, like, be so overconfident while getting things wrong.
Yeah.
Just sounds great coming from such a booming voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the casting a lot in this, and the writing, like I said, while not perfect, most of the time it hits.
Yeah.
Like, I was, just... for fun, because the video came out that day. This is when I was moving to Arizona. I was driving through, like, New Mexico and going into Arizona, and, like, the traffic was just awful. And so I'm, like, listening to a bunch of stuff. And then while I'm in Phoenix, we're stopped. And I'm like, all right, you know, I have Hoodwinked on my phone. I'll just listen to the audio in the car. And I'm laughing out loud throughout the whole time.
That's amazing.
It's just... because I can picture what's happening, too.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've seen it so much, or maybe it's because the audio's so expressive. But then... I even, like, picked up on some of the subtle jokes with the she can never be rude or unkind while ignoring the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yeah, whatever.
Everyone hates that guy for some reason.
I don't know. He's like trying his best to be social. I mean, come on.
Maybe it's because he's a furry.
God.
I'm just kidding. No offense to the furries out there. I'm just making a fun joke. Just a joke.
Oh, no.
But whether it's, like, the writing or the, like, composition of this thing, like, when you hear fairy tale mystery thing, you kind of think of the Happily Ever After Shrek bargain bin basement.
Yeah.
But it was legitimately well done, whether it be just because it's funny or it was well made, competently made. Like, the Goody Bandit thing is so inconsequential, but they make it such a big deal. I really like that there. Like, it's not, oh, who killed the three bears or something.
Like something just over dramatic like that. No, it's like it fits in with the fairy tale theme well, where it's like a recipe case, like at least for like the grand scheme of things, which I like. And again, I think I told you about this before we recorded, the whole aspect of pastries and treats and sweets and all that stuff, which is like often like a grand motif in fairy tales that I don't think really gets exploited enough, because they always want to do like all the magic and fairies and all that stuff. But like but you know, you think about it though, like a lot of the great fairy tales, including like Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and all those very iconic ones, are more grounded and kind of food based. So like when you kind of have that like when you kind of think about that approach, it just makes things a lot more interesting than just, oh, look at us making fun of the knights and armor tropes, or the dragons and the wizards and all that stuff that you would mostly expect from these kind of parodies.
Another thing I like about this is, you know, a lot of people were criticizing it for being a Shrek ripoff, which, you know, wasn't.
That wasn't true. Corey Edwards himself even admitted in a lot of interviews that he wanted to stray away as far from that movie's tone as possible, because he didn't want kids to be exposed to that high level of cynicism, as he puts it. I love Shrek, but I can totally understand where he's coming from, because it's a much more sophisticated, like, adult film, at least compared to Hoodwinked.
Yeah, well, like, what I'm saying is, I'm glad there's, like, very few, if any, pop culture references in this.
Yeah.
I'm actually struggling to think of any. I know there's gotta be a couple.
There's only, like, one major one, which is, like, a visual gag based on Saturday Night Fever, but...
Yeah, that. But, like, that's about it.
And again, it's just kind of... again, it's not funny because it's Saturday Night Fever, it's just... That's Flipper's past.
Yeah, and it just comes out of nowhere. Also, just a little funny thing, I grew up with the version of Little Red Riding Hood that didn't have the woodsman.
Oh.
So I was confused why he was in there as a kid. And it was only later when I heard, oh no, there's like a longer version where there's a woodsman who chases the wolf away.
Yeah.
So then that made more sense. And speaking of him, he's a comedic relief character, but he's also there as like wrong place at the wrong time. I like that. And he's so wholesome too. That you gotta love him.
I got the quarterback.
He even says that during his like interview.
Like,
no, don't talk.
That's oh my god, I love this movie so much.
It's so good. I could just watch it again and again and again, but not another time after that. Maybe a little break and then again and again.
Oh yeah, it's also low key inspirational too, given like the kind of position like the filmmakers were in. They were just like nobodies, just randomly making a bunch of short films and independent features with like pretty much shoestring budgets and only local talent, which is like the thing that the Edwards brothers were known for, was just getting all their friends and family to just help them out. And
they did a good job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Hoodwinked. I didn't think it was going to hold up as well as it did, and boy, did it.
It held up so much better than it needed to.
Same cannot be said about Hoodwinked.
He can't even finish that sentence.
It's so bad. I don't even know what else I can say about it. It's just awful.
I mean, for one thing, they, you know, all the good things I said about the whole exploitation of like, you know, pastry aesthetics are put at an all-time fucking minimum. Now it's just referencing a bunch of nursery rhymes and fairy tales just for fancy names. Like, oh, haha, London Bridge Asylum. You know, that's funny.
This time it actually is a Shrek ripoff.
Because, again, like, they just reference all this stuff for the sake of it, have a lot of pop culture references.
Oh, the Silence of the Lambs bit killed me. And not in a good way. It made me die inside.
Oh my god, it's Andy Dick as well, so you gotta love that.
Andy Dick can do no right.
But yeah, and I didn't, like, as he said, like, he was the one that had the short end of the stick and had to talk about this one in the video.
I was not happy. Have you seen it since you originally saw it? Because I don't think you had to see it for the review.
I have not really seen it in full. I'm sorry. Because, again, all I can remember is, like, oh, like, just a bunch of references and just bastardizations of the characters. Like, that, and because some of them didn't appear at all, or were just relegated to bad running gags, and all the new characters, you know? Again, they just destroy what I loved about the original. Because it's like, you have the magic harp and the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. Like, I mean, I understand they're trying to expand the world a bit more, but did they really have to just make it like this Goodfellas knockoff thing with like just all
Well, yeah,
this
they did.
supernatural crap in there? Like, come on, like there was virtually no supernatural elements in the original, which was like their whole point. And having it be more grounded with only the talking animals, like it still makes it feel more like a fable. Which again, that's like the whole crux of the whole thing, and that makes it more interesting than just, hey, all these magical stories. Like, hey, we're still doing more of those.
Yeah, but they did have to do it because making good stuff is hard. Even when I was younger, I was not excited for this because I thought Hoodwink should have stayed put.
Yeah, even with that ending though, with like the cliffhanger at the first film, it just seemed more like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, don't continue it, please. I'm so glad Disney didn't buy Hoodwinked because I think they would have made Hoodwinked the series, and it would have been just more Hoodwinked too.
just like one season probably, because
Then
like
it would have got canned.
yeah.
It reminds me, this is completely off topic, but like it kind of reminds me of the Clyde at the Chance of Meatball show that like no one knows happened.
Oh my god, that happened?
It did, and it's made in Flash.
Ew.
Let me show you. I think it would have been a lot like that.
That's gross. I don't
Clyde
want
with the Chance of Meatballs show.
I can't believe that. I didn't know about this.
This is actually what it looked like.
Ew. What the fuck?
It's like the secret show, but with no art direction.
Oh my god. Dude. Looks like a Peppa Pig character with that snout.
A lobster claus is coming to town. Yeah, it didn't last very long.
That logo's the most pleasing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, not great. Oh, I'm sorry, it was made in Toon Boom, not Flash. It lasted for a year. Gee, I wonder. Maybe we'll talk about that someday.
Don't encourage our people, okay?
Well, hey, we don't take requests aside from Patreon anyway, so it shouldn't really matter that much.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, back to Hoodwink 2. It's awful. It's really awful. They don't even get, like, some of the cast back. Like, they get Martin Short instead of Jim Belushi.
And it doesn't even sound like Belushi. At least just get Steers to play the old Kirk.
Yeah, Steers was still alive back then. You could do it.
Yeah, he played Flippers in the sequel. So
And we also get, was it Hayden Panettiere as...
yeah, Hayden Panettiere was Red, and it's I don't know.
What'd they do to my boy Twitchy? They massacred my boy.
Oh no, because Alvin and the Chipmunks was really popular, so they had to make him sound like those characters.
Oh, my name is Twitchy, and I don't do the fast talk anymore. That's the best Twitchy, and also, insert political person here impersonation ever.
Yeah.
Literally nothing about it is good. Like, it's even animated in Photoshop for some of it.
That's bad. I mean, Photoshop has great uses, just not for animating backgrounds as a legitimate background.
No wonder Corey Edwards didn't want to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, he only just wrote it to get it out of the way, and at the time at least he was trying to do that Fraggle Rock movie, which I think it would have been an amazing job with, but obviously the Weinsteins had to meddle with that too, so that project ended up getting shelved, and he wound up at writing for fucking VeggieTales.
I would love to live in the alternate reality where instead of Hoodwink 2, we get the Fraggle Rock movie.
Dude, that would have been so much better. Like, come on.
Even, I think I mentioned in the video, as a kid, I was like, what? When I was watching this in the theater, like, I was not happy with this.
You were just like, why?
Yeah.
It's like the part of your soul just fucking crumbled.
I think this is what started making me become a critic, actually. Because it was from here on out I had a more critical eye with movies. Because even as a, kid, I could tell this wasn't Hoodwinked. Not even close. Something was very, very wrong. And I am so happy it failed. And also, it took forever to come out because of dumb reasons that didn't amount to anything. And, it got in a bunch of legal trouble, too. Just not good.
No. Yeah, that's just... I don't know what else we can really say. Again, I never really saw it since I first saw it. I don't know how many years ago, so I can't really have much of a say in it. And what he said in the video is pretty much what really needs to be said.
And here's a small thing. I hate how 2 is spelled in the title.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Like, you know, they're trying to be, like, clever with, like, the puns and such. It's like Madagascar Escape to Africa. Like, that kind of bull crap that I hate what they do with those kind of movies.
And it doesn't even make sense. Like, am I saying that this person got hoodwinked too, or is it... I don't get it.
Yeah.
So... trying to find some dirt on this thing to really...
just to hone in your points.
Here we go. The film placed number 6 at the box office on opening weekend, which I'm sure also means that movies that weren't opening that weekend were beating them, dropping to number 10 the following weekend.
Jesus, fuck. That's not good.
Ooh. It opened up to $4 million, whereas the first film opened up to $12.5 million.
Oh, God.
Yikes. Over the course of the theatrical run, Hoodwinked 2, Hood vs. Evil. I also hate that title because it's not like... It makes it clear it's not a mystery anymore. It's just dumb. It's not even an action film. It's dumb. Took in $10 million domestically. And $23 million worldwide. Less than its budget. Falling short of its predecessor yet. Followed a pattern of animated sequels released in 2011 financially underperforming in comparison to its predecessors.
Wow.
This was a trend? No way.
What?
This was a trend in 2011? I don't remember this.
What?
Animated follow-ups that are underperforming.
Oh, yeah.
What? This can't be right. Yeah, these aren't sequels, but they're talking about just movies that failed in general, like Mars Needs Moms, Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah, Ellen John's Opus.
I keep forgetting that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, that was not a good year for animated films.
Nah. I mean, you know, Rango was, like, really good.
Oh, and Cars 2 was another follow-up that didn't do well. Happy Feet 2, Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked. Oh, so it was a trend.
Oh my god, yeah.
Lion King 3D also didn't do well.
Well, that was a re-release, but it's still, like, you know, familiar.
Yikes. That's bad.
Oh yeah, Winnie the Pooh. We talked about that.
Winnie the Pooh, that didn't do well either because of Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
So already 2011 was not a good year for, let alone animated sequels, just animated films in general. So no matter what, Hoodwinked 2 is going to fail. But with all the controversy around its licensing issues and it being delayed again and again, for some reason, it's obviously not for quality control. Because if it had quality control, it wouldn't have come out. Ever.
Oh god, yeah, right.
It hurts to talk about it. It really does. Because the first film is so inspiring as like this indie film that could and came out like mostly intact. And then they just did this. It's everything that the first film could have been if they went to like Disney.
Oh, yeah.
And it's depressing. So, in summation, the first film is an inspiring and very funny movie that holds up well, and then the second one is something we shall never acknowledge again. Except if I make like a top 10 worst sequels video or something, but so many people have done that.
Yeah, we're not, I don't think we're gonna do that.
The closest they'll get is my top 10 least favorite movies, and I don't know if Hoodwinked 2 would get on there. It'd be an honorable mention, but
yeah,
not on. That's reserved for stuff like Arabian Night or The Devil Inside or the Drawn Together movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, all those classics.
Alright, and what do you think in summation?
I love the first one. I pretty much said what I needed to say already. And again, just something that really proves that, like, no matter where you are, like, in the field of film, you can pretty much get anything you can done. If you meet the right people, if you get lucky, or... Well, they didn't really get lucky. They just made the right connections and made the right friends to really just get something out there with their films already. And they just did the extra mile to make Hoodwinked. And what I love... I also want to bring this up before we head out. I also love, like, in the behind the scenes features, like, they even said, like, for animated films, you don't have to be the greatest artist.
Yeah.
You can just, like, make little sketches and have that be your main direction. And, like, regardless if it looks pretty or not, just go with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's exactly what Hoodwinked is. It's don't judge a book by its cover. It may look like a bunch of walking piles of soap, but it's a very well-made movie.
Yeah. So, and Hoodwinked 2 can die. That's all I can say.
Yeah, burn in a fire. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
And, yeah, I'm gonna go get some water.